Hello and welcome everyone to the Engineers Ireland webinar on starting your career in civil engineering. Thanks very much everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Michael Gallagher and my contact details are here below if you want to get in contact. Just to say that this is part of the Graduate Engineer Summer Series where we're hosting a webinar every week for our engineers who are graduating the class of 2021 to tell them all about graduate membership and to help them start their career in this strange and unusual time that is coronavirus. If you're a graduate engineer who's watching this recording or you are here with us live, just a reminder that you can log this as a CPD. You just log into your profile and you go into the log CPD. The reason you need to do that is you need to keep an accurate record of your CPD and you need to declare 35 hours every year. So just a little reminder. For our student members, this is how your profile might actually look if you've not yet transferred over to graduate membership. Hey, look, there's a free graduate membership there waiting for you. So don't delay, log in and apply for your free graduate membership. It's always great to get something for free. This is to show the discounted rate that you'll be put on for the next couple of years. And Engineers Ireland is offering a €700 discount during this time because we're really invested in your long-term professional development. So if you have any questions about this, the team email there for the membership team is below. And yeah, in the comment or in the description section of the video, I'm going to drop a link where you can ask questions about this event. The presenters will also be able to kind of answer your questions and I'll be in that forum. So just a reminder that that's another facility there. And yeah, within this forum, we have our full line of speakers who are coming up. So yeah, we're really delighted to have three fantastic speakers. And I'm going to hand it over to our first one now. So that's Brian Feighan, who is the chairperson of the Young Engineers Society. And Brian, I'm delighted to hand it over to you.
Thanks very much, Michael, and welcome all this evening and online. Hopefully my screen sharing will work correctly here now. There we go. So I'm just going to give a quick talk, I suppose. So I'm Brian Feighan. I'm 27. I graduated in 2018, so working close to 3 years now. As Michael mentioned, I'm the Young Engineers Society chair for 2020, last year and this year, 2021 and 21-22. Just, I suppose, to mention as well, I was involved with the Civil Engineering Society in UCD and was men's captain of the swim team as well. So it's cool, and Engineers Ireland has been a really good opportunity to get involved, I suppose, now that I'm working and student societies are no longer on the agenda, let's say. So I work with Ronan O'Donovan, so we're based in Sandyford, and I'm almost there, three years at them at this stage. So just a little bit about me, non-engineering side, I suppose, about some of my interests. I'm a keen fan of golf and Leinster rugby. I've a photo here from the match I was fortunate to attend there on Friday, which was cool. I'm a big fan of the likes of Bruce Springsteen and the Killers, and I suppose at the end of the day, I'm a keen fan of engineering as well. This is me doing a pavement inspection when I was very little, and I suppose I'd have a keen interest in all sorts of stuff. This is me at the Paris Air Show, and here's a photo with my girlfriend, who's also an engineer, where we were taking old steam trains. So yeah, I suppose I've a wide range of interests outside of engineering, including build electronics and playing a bit of PC games as well. So I've kind of I've a lot of fun things, I suppose, that influence my career to date. So in terms of where I work and what I do, I'm, as I said, I'm a graduate engineer with the ROD. We're we have a structured graduate program. So the idea is over 2 years you work with different teams to get a wider range of experience. And indeed, I've worked with a number of projects in Rowan and O'Donovan. So I suppose at this stage now, I'm transportation or transport is kind of my focus or area of interest, and I'm kind of settling in with that team long term at this stage now. So in terms of kind of projects that I'm involved with, I'll go over a few of the kind of bigger projects. I've been involved on and off now for the last couple of years with the rollout of variable speed limits on the M50. I'm working on the operations side, so that's, I suppose, understanding how somebody would react to an incident on the M50, who's called, what measures are deployed, I suppose, and I suppose, yeah, understanding what goes on the ground, let's say, when things like this will be done, and if we do bring in variable speed limits, how we would, how those things would change, and how we'd have to adapt. I suppose on the back of this, and I'll come back to Brexit in a minute. I'm working with on this project as well as seconded to TII at the moment, assisting. I was assisting in November and December, especially with their Brexit readiness. So again, a lot of work had to go in with communication between the likes of TII, Dublin Port, An Garda Síochána, Dublin City Council, etc., to make sure, I suppose, in the event of the worst case scenario with Britain leaving the EU, that everyone was prepared and ready to deal with that. With that worst case scenario. So that involved monitoring the network a good bit, preparing reports in the likes of Word, and monitoring the traffic volumes very closely to see, especially after the 1st of January, whether things were increasing, or when this, whether there was a possibility of this surge happening. And I suppose, as well as that, there was some mapping undertaken in the likes of GIS in terms of being able to show diversion routes and communicate diversion routes as well. So a very rounded, I suppose, experience. I'm coming to the end of my 6 months with them now, so it's been an interesting experience. I suppose I also did a bit of supervision. There's a turnaround gone in at the entrance to the port, where we do in the event that it's closed, we can turn HGVs around. So again, a bit of supervision and understanding of design and how it's implemented on the ground there. As well as that, through another one of my rotations, I was working with a different team in transport, where I was doing traffic modeling in terms of the TIAs, or traffic impact assessments, on schemes like the Waterford North Quays scheme, and other smaller schemes like the Community Nursing Unit scheme we're involved with the HSE. So again, I suppose interfacing with a lot of different teams, a lot of different clients, and a good kind of general exposure to buildings, motorways, to mapping and working with environmental teams, and a range of clients. I suppose, as well as that, one of my other rotations involved site experience out in Dublin Port. So I had the opportunity to go out on site and do some supervision out there. So again, I would have been using CAD on a daily basis, preparing progress reports, monitoring construction. Again, kind of given me a little bit of a different take on what I was doing in the office. And again, part something that overlapped with that a little bit was I was also involved in providing some modelling support to Dublin Port as part of getting ready for Brexit. So again, we'd a detailed traffic model with, I think, 23 or 24 junctions in there, where we were trying to model movements and understand where the bottlenecks on the network were. If in a worst case scenario all ferries came in at the same time and clogged up the network. So again, using different software. On the traffic modeling front, I would have used the likes of, say, Arcady, Picady. This would have been done in Paramix. So again, I'm getting a good range of software use, I suppose, and working with different teams again on site in the office to broaden my understanding, I suppose. So I'll move on now, I suppose, reflecting on what I've done to try and give some tips. So the way I've structured this is I've some general tips for people who are looking to start. If maybe if you have a job in September lined up, some general tips I've picked up over the last few years. The main one being keep an open mind in terms of what you want to work in. Civil engineering is a big discipline. Indeed, a lot of the stuff that I'm working with now, I didn't even know fully existed as an area in college. So oftentimes you'll come across things. I'm familiar with people who really like structures and ended up in transport, people who really like transport and ended up in buildings or bridges. So try and keep an open mind and try and work through I guess see a range of projects before you choose what way you want to go. Similarly, with this being civil engineer, you can be on the same project, but you can be on different sides of the table as a client, as a consultant, or as a contractor. So again, even though it's the same thing, you could be doing different things on the same project, depending on what way you want to go. So tip number 2 then would be really, when you start working, try and get involved. I'm a member of the social committee in ROD, and I try and make it to events. Now, they've mainly been online in the last year, but oftentimes we'll have some social events, and again, it's a great way to build rapport with your colleagues and get to know the team inside and outside of work a little bit better, which is great, and other teams in the office as well. So we've been doing coffee mornings online the last while. That's been our main source of interaction, and again, it's really great. You get to keep up with people and you get to know the people are doing okay, which is very important at the moment still. So hopefully we'll be back in the office setting and get used to that again by the end of the year. The big tip that I would say generally is there's no such thing as a silly question. It was said to me very early on, and it's definitely true. If you're coming out of college, nobody expects you to know everything. It's a learning experience for you as a graduate, and people are there to assist you and to give you a bit of a steer. So if you're not sure, ask. Curiosity is always a good thing. Oftentimes, even if you think you know the answer, by bringing it up, maybe it'll open up a different perspective of a problem. Why is there a problem? Why are things done in a particular way? Oftentimes it can lead to helping on projects rather than hindering, which sometimes as a new graduate, I suppose you can feel a little bit pressured or anxious about asking questions. So yeah, it's a learning experience, and people around you know that as well. They're not expecting you to step right up knowing everything day one. And then the last thing I suppose there, further to that, is talk with your line manager, with your colleagues. If there's stuff you're doing that you're having difficulty with, maybe someone can offer a helping hand. Maybe you can work on another aspect of the project that you're more familiar with, or you can get assistance with the course from people in the office to build your skill set. But if you don't say something, and again, especially with online working at the moment, people aren't there, they can't pick up on what you're saying or doing. So get that steer, get that direction. It'll only stand to benefit you. For people who are maybe with a year to go, or looking for a job, or still in college, some quick tips here are generally a structured graduate program often gives you that range of that.
I think your headphones might have just popped
Yeah,
out for a second. Oh,
yeah,
they're
they
back.
cut there. Yeah. So structured programs give you the opportunity, I guess, to see that range of range and breadth, and oftentimes are well structured in terms of their making sure that you develop as a graduate and have the skills to progress with your career. So definitely consider one of those. And again, if you've a summer, a lot of the companies take on students over the summer, so it's a great way often to make a little bit of money and gain some valuable experience, as well as get your foot in the door with a company to progress with when you graduate. And then lastly, I suppose if you're in college and you don't have a network or contacts, your professors or lecturers in university are a great way to start. A lot of the lecturers and professors say in UCD that when I was there, and generally from what I've found, a lot of them have strong links with industry, so they might be able to put you in contact with someone in a company, or with a contractor, or with the public body maybe, that are interested in hiring, and get that ball rolling to start that discussion. Finally, then I'd just like to say, on the back of this, the importance of Engineers Ireland in all of this. I think, as Michal highlighted, it's free to join as a student, and you save a lot of money when you graduate. It's very, very attractive. But I suppose a big thing as well, especially if you're maybe an international student who's doing a postgraduate degree, having MIEI on your CV also lets employers know that your education is up to a recognised standard in Ireland, and it'll only serve to strengthen your CV. In Engineers Ireland, I definitely encourage you to participate in committees, and go to a lot of events. So the Young Engineers Society, for example, we're always looking for new input and new views and perspectives on a number of issues, and to help organise some events you'd be interested in. Certainly the likes of the civil division and on Roe as well, who I'd be involved with, everyone is looking for input, and especially what young people have to think, and or what they think about things. So if you're at all interested, I'd highly encourage you to get in touch. There's a lot of information with the website, and most people would be delighted if you could drop into a few of their meetings. Similarly, it's a great way to build your network. Through that, you meet a lot of people at a different level, where you have people like graduates to myself, such as myself, all the way up to, say, managing directors in companies, in different companies. So you get a lot of range of experience and views, and it's a great way to, I suppose, get to know other people in the field. So then, I suppose the member-only resources are also very useful when you're starting out. As Michal highlighted, we've this CPD log, which is handy for when you're going for chartership. But as well as that, I suppose there's a lot of free events that are very good. There's a number of series on at the moment which let you upskill, as well as a number of great videos, or view on demand videos through the e-learning portal that might help you with some skills early on. If you're struggling with report writing or in Excel, there's some brilliant resources there. Finally, on that, I'd say, you starting out, there's definitely a good steer in the annual salary survey, which is a key document published by Engineers Ireland, and it'll give you a benchmark with your experience as you progress, as to what kind of the industry norm would also be in terms of how you're earning, which I know is the other side of the coin. Experience is great, but at the end of the day, you have to put food on the table. So again, it's useful to see versus your peers whether you're behind or ahead, and it's a good benchmark. So yeah, the main thing I would say is get involved, and it's a great way to build your network and build some contacts in civil engineering in Ireland, and it can only stand to you. So thanks very much. I hope this has been useful, and I'll be around to answer some questions after this.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was a phenomenal presentation, and